Hi, I want to move on to another accounting issue now, and that is accounting for foreign currencies. Before we can even start to think about the regulation which addresses this, we need to understand why accounting for foreign currencies is a problem. And we can see that this is a consequence of how foreign currencies have become increasingly volatile in an environment where most currencies these days are floating. And we can see that as businesses have globalized, then so their exposures to foreign currency have increased. And you can see the volatility that we now see with foreign currencies by a simple graph here of the Aussie dollar US dollar exchange rate and how it's changed over the last 5 years. You can see that we've had significant differences well into the 80s and down into the 50s. So that is quite significant, and how you measure foreign currencies is therefore going to be a significant issue. You can think of those issues just in terms of whether we measure foreign currency amounts or amounts denominated in a foreign currency using an historic cost approach. So if we could use the example of a loan, do we recognize the loan at its historic cost at the date that the loan was initiated, let's say 80 cents, or do we allow the loan value to change and we recognize the change in the value of that loan progressively in the statement of profit or loss? So the volatility of foreign currencies does contribute to them being an accounting issue. A further contributor to the problem of foreign currencies is just the extent to which companies these days are exposed to foreign currencies. And if we look at the financial statements for Orica, this gives you a pretty good idea as to the problem. You can see that they have transactions right around the world, and you will need to understand that sometimes there are import and export transactions and sometimes there are foreign operations. And so we can see that the problem arises with foreign currencies due to the diversity of the situations in which exposures to foreign currency arise. Maybe there are transactions and we have to record those transactions. Sometimes those transactions are ongoing or concluded, and sometimes they're open and sometimes they're hedged. All of this contributes to complexity in terms of accounting for foreign currencies. For firms who have operations in a foreign country, they may maintain their financial records in a currency other than the reporting currency of the domestic entity. And if you have foreign operations, what you have to do is you have to be able to convert financial statements which may be denominated in a currency other than your reporting currency, so that you can go through a process of consolidation of those financial statements. So what we can see is that companies these days are increasingly exposed to foreign currencies, and foreign currencies are volatile, and that tells us why it's an accounting issue and why we need an accounting standard. The accounting standard addressing foreign currencies is IAS 21 to AASB 21. And if we think about what the conceptual framework might have to say about how foreign currencies are accounted for, it would say that we need to be concerned with faithful representation and capturing the economic substance of transactions or balances. We also need to ensure that we have some consistency and comparability, and we're going to see this emerging over the next couple of topics, because we're going to see how this topic flows into accounting for financial instruments, and foreign currency monetary items might well just as easily be accounted for as a financial instrument. So where to from here? Well, we're going to get into IAS 21 to AASB 21, and we're going to focus first on transactions, and then we'll focus on translations, and it's going to leave an entry path to financial instruments, which will be the next topic that we consider.